What's going on, guys? It's Will, and today's video is going to be a tutorial about how to cut a card. So, as your novice trainers might have told you in class already, a card is basically a consolidated piece of information that comes from any source, whether it be a statistical analysis, just a blog, an article, or like a philosophical journal, or like a legal review. So, like any source that offers something that you can read as support for the claims you're making in your case. And you can use cards for really anything, whether it be definitions, justifications for your framework, empirical analysis to back up, the claims you're making in your contention. But they should be a staple of any case. And it's good to have appeals to authority and good fleshed out evidence already in your case that supports your own writing and your own synthesis, which makes it persuasive to judges and also easy to use against your opponents. So without getting too much into the function of cards, we're just going to talk about how to actually go about cutting a card. So the method I'm showing you isn't the only way to cut a card, and you can make whatever changes to this that, satisfy you in terms of how you want your card to look. But this is just like a overview and a pretty basic way to cut a card that I use. It's pretty efficient, makes it look nice, and yeah, it keeps your prep organized as well. So the first thing you're going to want to do is download the verbatim template for Microsoft Word. So as you can see from my cursor and this toolbar, Word looks really weird, and the reason why is because I'm actually in the verbatim template, which is a template that's optimized for debate and allows you to use several different functions that make card cutting and prep organizing, case writing, stuff like that really simple and easy. So assuming you already have verbatim downloaded, let's get into it. So first you're going to want to find your article. I just looked up civil disobedience empirics, in Google, and found a simple article about this. This probably isn't, you may or may not want to use this. I mean, feel free to. I don't really know if this is gonna say anything useful, but basically first thing you're going to do is read through the article. After you've read the article, think about what you're trying to prove with it, and then copy the text over from the part that you think is relevant. This could be in short articles, the whole article, or in really annoying long articles. It could just be one paragraph. For this one, I'm really trying to cut the part of the article that talks about a specific study that would, prove a point that the neg would be making about the efficacy of civil disobedience, the context of convincing people of a cause. So I don't know how useful this would actually be in practice. But yeah, you're going to copy this over, and then once you have the text, put it in your Word document. So then navigate back to your Word document, paste the text of the card. As you notice, it's kind of discombobulated and disorganized. So you're just going to want to select the card. The first thing you want to do is clear any formatting that the website might have. It'll be especially weirdly formatted in PDFs. That will standardize it to whatever font you're using as your default in Microsoft Word. And then you're going to want to press condense up here, or that also is F3 if you are using the keybinds. So now you have your card body, which is nicely formatted in a nice block of text. But the only thing is, this is obviously very long. But don't worry, you're not actually going to read every single word of the card. In fact, you're probably not going to read even half of what the authors have been saying, because you're actually just exploiting whatever source they've published in order to achieve the claim that you want to use. So you want to get the central claim of what they're saying, but you don't need every single sentence, because not all of it is pertinent or necessary, and a lot of it can be redundant, especially in the context of a debate where you've already probably summarized the argument. You're just using this to support empirically, or provide an appeal to authority to support what you've already said in your case. So I'm just going to go through and underline the parts of the card that I think are important. So I'm not going to make you guys sit through me doing this, but basically highlight whatever portion you want and press F9, and that'll underline and bold it. And I'll resume the video once I'm done. Yeah. Okay, so now I've underlined the portion of the card that I think is relevant, and so I've kind of pared down, as you can see, what part we'd actually be reading. So you feel free to pause the video if you want to like see what information I consider relevant. You could probably cut out even more from this, but I'm just doing this quickly to show like how you would go about formatting. So this is pretty hard to read because it's hard to differentiate between the text that's important, which is underlined, and the text that's unimportant, which is not highlighted, which is not underlined. And Verbatim offers you a really easy tool to fix this, and it allows you to shrink all the text that you don't want to make it like really easy to read. So you want to put your cursor anywhere in the card body and press Control-8, and it instantly formats it. You can press Control-8, keep pressing it until the small text is small enough for you, and then after that you have a really satisfying card. Okay, then the next step is, even of this information, you don't actually want to read and round all of it, except it's still good, in my opinion, to have it at this full text, because for this study, it's good to have this information on hand and easy to read in the event that your opponent inquires about like a specific study or like how a study was conducted. But it's not necessary to read every single word of this. So we can go further and just press highlight for the actual elements of the card we want to read. So once I decide what I want to read, you would highlight it, for example, press F11 or highlight, and then it changes it to that. So I'm just going to do this for the whole card. I'm not going to make you guys sit through this again, but I'll resume the video when I'm done. So this is what your card body should look like. I would do it more carefully, but this is just to show like generally what the formatting should look like. But as you can see, this will take a lot less time to read than like the full text of whatever article you're cutting from. But we do have the body of the card, but we're still not done. There are actually two more elements, one of them being the tagline of the card, which summarizes the main claim that this article is making. And then the second element is the citation, which is really important, especially because like there are certain rules of the NSDA for like having citations and having access to the source. Okay, so the specific format of the citation doesn't really matter, but I usually just do it through EasyBib, and yeah, I'll just do that right now and then paste the citation when I'm done. So once you have the citation pasted, you want to shrink it down to like a pretty small text because it saves space in your document. However, when you're actually reading the card, you want to introduce it with the last name of the author or authors, as well as the last 2 digits of the date. And there's a specific formatting to like highlight the parts of the citation that you want. And that's F8, which is cite. So after you paste like the MLA citation or whatever, just highlight the last name, which is in this case Carey. I'd press cite, it expands it to a pretty large font, and then I'd highlight the last 2 digits, 16, and then press cite. So this reads Carey 16, and then you just read the body of the card. And then the last element of the card is the tagline, which looks like this, and this is just basically something that I wrote myself that summarizes the general claim. So you could probably make this more succinct, but I just basically said that, like, as you can see, like, a psychological study proves that civil disobedience alienates the public, making them less likely to believe in a cause. So that summarizes the general claim and purpose of this text, and I don't know, there's no way to really describe how to do this best. You'll get a better feel for it as you cut more and more cards. But in order to get it to look like this on the document, let's just press clear. So I would have typed this, and then I would have highlighted this, and press the F7 tag button. And what this does is not only does it make it to where it's easy to read, but also if you go to navigate, then which is right here in the view panel in the debate interface, just press navigate and it'll show all your cards and headings on the side. So as you can see, like, there are different categorizations and headings that you can use in debate to make it really easy to organize a bunch of prep together. So then, let's say this card had like a more specific function that I wanted to use. Above it, I might put block F6, and then I would type like what this is. So I'd be, I guess, answer to publicity. Okay. Also use these functions on the main, and it would look like this. And as you can see, the card is now a subheading of this block text, which is answer to publicity. That's just like some more advanced functions that you can use, but basically it just helps you to keep organized. So yeah, now we have our final card, and I wouldn't actually read this part. This is just for my own organizational purposes. But in the round, I'd say a psychological study proves that civil disobedience, blah blah blah, alienates the public. Carry 16. Nadia Bashir studied the ability of certain types of activists to have influence over the opinions of the public. The more aggressive and angry the activists, the less influence they had. Okay, so yeah, you get the point. Basically, this is what your final card could look like. And then after you've cut the card, since y'all like to share prep here, after the citation, you can put your initial. So in my case, I put WA, which shows who cut the card. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to email me at william_aarons@careyacademy.org if you have any questions about how to cut a card. Yeah.